It didn't begin with a building. It began with a problem that didn't make sense. King David was living in a palace, solid, permanent, while the Ark of the Covenant, the symbol of God's presence, remained in a tent. That tent had made sense when Israel was wandering, but now they were settled, established, secure. So David decided to act. He would build a temple, a permanent place for God's presence among the people. At first, the idea seemed completely right. Even the prophet Nathan told David to go ahead and do it. But that night, something changed. Nathan received a message, not from his own thinking, but from God. And the next day, he came back with a correction. His first answer had been reasonable, but it wasn't revealed. The second one was, David would not build the temple, not because the desire was wrong, but because the builder mattered. David had been a man of war. The temple was meant to represent peace, not battle. Instead, it would be built by his son, Solomon. And with that came a deeper shift. David wanted to build a house for God, but God reversed it. He would build a house for David, not a structure, but a lasting line of kings. When Solomon became king, the conditions were finally right. There was peace, there were resources, there was structure. So the project began. But not at the temple site. The stones were cut in quarries, the wood was shaped elsewhere. Every piece was prepared in advance. So when the temple was assembled, it happened in silence. No hammer, no chisel, no sound of tools. Everything fit exactly as planned. This wasn't just precision, it was intentional. Iron tools, often associated with weapons and war, were kept away. The temple was built without force, without conflict. Even during construction, it was treated as sacred. When it was finished, the design reinforced that meaning. Gold-lined walls, carvings of cherubim, and at the center, the most holy place, a perfect cube, set apart from everything else. That's where the ark would go. That's what the entire structure pointed toward. Then came the dedication. The ark was carried into the temple. Solomon stood before the people and prayed, asking that this place would be where people could turn back to God, where prayers would be heard, where forgiveness could begin. And then it happened. A cloud filled the temple. Not symbolic, overwhelming. The priests couldn't stand, because the space was understood to be filled with God's presence. For a time, everything aligned. The kingdom was strong. The temple stood at the center of worship and identity. But slowly, that alignment began to shift. Solomon formed alliances with other nations, and those alliances brought influence. Foreign beliefs entered Israel. Worship became divided. It didn't happen all at once. The temple still stood, but what it represented began to erode. After Solomon's death, the kingdom split. Generations passed. Some leaders tried to restore what was lost, but the pattern didn't hold. Prophets warned that the temple itself wasn't protection, that without obedience, it was just a structure. Those warnings were ignored. Then, in 586 BC, Nebuchadnezzar arrived. Jerusalem fell. The temple was looted and burned. The structure collapsed, and the ark disappeared from history. What had once been built in silence, filled with presence, and set apart as sacred, ended in fire. Not because the design failed, but because what it stood for was no longer being upheld. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And while you're here, click on the video you see on screen to keep watching. Your support helps this channel grow and keeps content like this coming. I'll see you in the next one.